6:46 in your Sunrise Smart Start. We start with breaking stories we've been covering all morning. A man in his 50s is dead after he was hit by a car in Rochester. That happened on Lake Avenue last night around 11 o'clock near the intersection with Driving Park Avenue. The victim died at the hospital. The driver in the car who hit the man stayed at the scene and is cooperating with the investigation. Police say at this point alcohol and drugs do not appear to be factors in that accident. Also breaking, a home with children inside shot up in southwest Rochester. That was just before 1:45 this morning at a house on Shelter Street just west of Jefferson Ave. There were 7 people inside the home, including 4 kids. RPD says thankfully none of them were hurt. No arrests have been made. Looking ahead this morning, parents, specialists, and educators are all getting together to travel to Albany to fight for support and what they say is a lack of funding for early intervention specialists. Jatira Marsh joins us live with the story. Jatira, what are they asking for here?
Moments ago, we watched as a group of people traveled to go fight for an issue that's not only impacting them, but the lives of others as well. Early intervention is a federally mandated program where each child has the right to get access into these crucial support services within 30 days. And because of a lack of providers, these families are having to wait upwards of a year to get connected. Lynn and Mike Mordenga are parents of 2-year-old Timothy. There are more than 200 families waiting to get early access intervention services like speech, physical, or occupational therapy. When they checked in with their doctor around this time last year about getting Timothy evaluated for any developmental delays, they say they went into thinking it would be a straightforward process.
But we found out that the wait list, or what they call is the overcapacity list, was super long, and we just were not ready that he would be waiting so long for services. He did get a physiotherapist, but that was after 6 months, and we're still waiting for him to get a speech therapist, and it's been now closer to a year.
Now they're asking for an 11% increase in pay, and they realize that this may not be enough for some providers, but at least it's a start. Live in Rochester at Village Gate, Jatira Marsh, News 8. Vernon, back to you.
All right, Jatira, thank you. Staying with us, Governor Hochul signed the Covered Lives for Early Intervention bill last year, which created a $40 million fund to cover claims from providers and to force private insurers to contribute, but that did not change the reimbursement rates as part of the formula. 10 minutes ago until we hit the top of the hour, let's check in with meteorologist James Gilbert. That morning's forecast, maybe a bike ride today.
Yeah, I think so. Well, you know, there's still people out there that do bike year-round.
Yes.
And today is an easy day to get on the bike. Just need some gloves, that's all. You'll get away with it. Temperatures do climb really nicely, though, as we get into this afternoon. Check these numbers out. Greece at 48. Honey Falls, 49 degrees. Maybe you'll run at 50 later this afternoon. 46 Penn Yan, Naples, 48 Bristol. At the ski slopes, you're at 48 later today. We'll have a bus stop forecast and last check of the 8-day at the end of the show. Brendan.
All right, James, see you then. Let's stay with our roads and get an update on that traffic at 6:49. Everything doing just fine. No new accidents to report. Expressways, all the green light. Overseas in Turkey and Syria, the death toll stands at more than 5,000 after earthquakes yesterday. Here in western New York, a much smaller earthquake near Buffalo, something incredibly unusual for the region. That was in West Seneca. The 3.8 magnitude quake did little damage, no injuries reported. Experts at the University at Buffalo are calling what happened in West Seneca an intraplate earthquake. That means those are the hardest to predict, and they are much different than what we hear about out in California. And while the event was alarming to people around the Buffalo area, there is no real cause for concern. The governor made a stop yesterday morning in Syracuse to highlight some impacts of the state budget proposal she put out last week. She says she has plans to distribute $10 million to help renovate the city's public housing. That's related to the recent announcement of the Micron facility, which comes with a promise of more jobs for the region. Hochul says she plans on being involved in coordination every step of the way. Also announced $1 million to an apprenticeship program to help New Yorkers enter the manufacturing industry. As we look ahead, a lot of RG&E and NYSEG customers who have been dealing with this billing mess, all these woes, will be able to express their frustrations today at Rochester City Hall at a public forum. The sessions run from 1 to 3 and 6 to 8. The State Department of Public Service investigation looking into unfair billing practices continues into that company. We spoke with Steve Wexler, a customer who filed a complaint with DPS. Wexler says RG&E was billing him an extra $60 on the regular bill. The process to get it fixed was not an easy effort. He says they confused his home with the house next door, and he says that just proves a lack of competence.
So it was a very simple issue, and it wasn't a huge dollar amount, but they debited my account extra. And what's funny is when I moved into this house, which was in October, and I signed up for service, they told me originally I had 2 electric meters. I said, oh, okay, I didn't know I was the new homeowner. So a couple days later, when I got the keys, there's only one, but the house next door has 2 electric meters. So it sort of shows how horrible their systems are, that they can't even differentiate one house next door to the house next door to figure out what's what.
RG&E says it remains committed to helping customers and concerns are being heard. The company says it will continue to improve the experience for customers and anticipates being back to a steady state later this year. That will come with additional hiring and training for that staff. President Joe Biden will give his second State of the Union address before a new divided Congress and the American people coming up in prime time tonight. There's also this new CBS News poll indicating many Americans have a negative view of the country right now. 61% believe the economy is in bad condition. The White House says the president will tout progress on the economic front as federal numbers show easing inflation trends and a strong labor market, the lowest unemployment rate currently in more than 50 years. Mr. Biden says he wants the speech to be a conversation with the American people. And the mother of a man wounded during the Tops mass shooting in Buffalo will be there for the speech at the Capitol tonight. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer invited Zenaida Everhart to the State of the Union. Last year, she was in D.C. testifying to Congress before the vote that led to the bipartisan Safer Communities Act, the first piece of major gun safety legislation in a generation. The State of the Union, by the way, begins tonight at 9 right here on News 8. $1.4 million for SUNY nursing programs in colleges all over the state, including at Brockport. That money is coming to them. The news is during staffing shortages across the healthcare system. Part of the Nursing Emergency Training Fund with the goal of increasing enrollment and filling out the workforce. All of this comes from the governor's plan to increase healthcare staffing by 20% the next 5 years. Both Brockport and Empire State College are receiving nearly $100,000 of that grant. Here's what some people are going to be talking about this morning. You got to check out this story here. There was a winner in last night's Powerball drawing. One ticket sold in Washington State. The jackpot hit an estimated $754.6 million, the 5th largest jackpot in Powerball history, the 9th largest U.S. Lotto prize ever. Winning the grand prize could give the winner $747 million if they choose the annual option, paid out gradually over 29 years. The popular option, though, for most people, just cash right up front. That would be $407 million before you take out federal and state taxes.
Not too bad of a payout. Now, I know some states you have to reveal the name, but others you do not.
I know.
Not sure about Washington State, whether or not you got to reveal the name. I know.
It's a debate over that. It's a lot of people will form an LLC and they'll come out and they'll claim it that way. Just put up some other name. So you can't. Then you're going to have all these friends from high school that come out of the woodworks trying to say, you owe me lunch money, a couple million from 2002.
Or when John Smith doesn't show up to work and you say, okay, I guess we know.
Yes, got that. Well, we'll all just have to try our luck next time.
Yeah, well, you know what's free? A little bit of sunshine this morning. How about that? Great view over News 8 studios in Rochester. You love to see it. Those are some high-level cirrus clouds. They will thicken up over the next few hours, so let's enjoy this sunglasses necessary morning. Bus stop forecast, sunrise at 7:19. We are cool this morning in the mid-20s, but a rapid warm-up gets us into the mid-40s this afternoon. Yes, there will be a couple of rain showers here and there, but generally the warmth and I think the wind is going to take the cake with the headlines for today. We'll finish off with the 8-day forecast here. Tomorrow looks like a nice day. Clouds to sun, again, back in the low 40s. Then Thursday, it's a soaker of a day. We'll make a run at 50, but it's going to come with rain showers. Looks like through a good portion of the day. Friday is quiet, cloudy skies. And then Saturday, what had looked like just yesterday, to deal with some snow showers. That storm system has trended to the south of us, Brennan, so it looks like more mid-Atlantic area. Things could change. We got to keep an eye on where the northern edge of that storm system is, but in general, we'll just put a chance for snow in there. I think it's probably a pretty quiet weekend overall.
Just incredible, the lack of snow. And I was noticing yesterday, after 5 o'clock, sun still seeing quite a bit of that, getting towards the end of it.
5:32,
slowly but surely. Thanks for watching us at News 8 at Sunrise. Next update in 30 minutes. CBS Mornings coming your way.
Follow News 8 wherever you are on RochesterFirst.com, Facebook, Twitter, and on our app for news and weather.